Hey everybody, welcome. New look, same great comics. Thanks for watching. I'm the comics teacher. So this is actually where I teach live. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to try to record my video here today and see if it makes a difference. Just kind of switch it up, change the pace. Got the dope lighting in the background, and I got this space right here that I'm going to hold up these comics and bring you some amazing reviews today. So let's get right into it. Our nonfiction book today comes to us from local Chicago artist from New York, Lucy Knisley. Lucy Knisley has been on a couple panels with us. She's an amazing artist, an amazing storyteller. She's a great follow on social media. And this book, Relish, was my first introduction to Lucy. This is not on the table. This is actually from our school's library. I just wanted to borrow it because my copy is lent out. It's called My Life in the Kitchen. It is a brilliant nonfiction book that is packed with these cool little multiple two-page spread recipes. From anything from sushi to cookies to tomatoes to mushrooms. Lucy does a great job of kind of bringing us this great nonfiction tale mixed with these amazing little bits of recipe. I love everything Lucy does, and this book is just absolutely fantastic. If you are interested in nonfiction cooking tales with recipes, you need to pick up My Life in the Kitchen, Relish. Okay. Next is the book for you. The book for you today that I have picked is a superhero book. It is it's Matt Fraction, David Aja's Hawkeye. If you have not read the Matt Fraction Hawkeye, it is time for you to go to Amazon and pick up the entire collection. There is no doubt that this is in my top 3 favorite superhero runs of all time. The telling of this character of Hawkeye makes him so relatable. I think in the first issue it says this is a tale of an Avenger and what they do when they're not being an Avenger. And the art style is just super cool and hip, and small panels and big panels and bright bold colors. I've had students not like this book because I had a classroom set of trade 1. This is actually the second trade of this book because my first trade is lent out. What do you know? But it is just fantastic. There's a whole issue done through the lens of the dog, and he thinks in emojis because he only hears certain words, but he thinks in pictures. Although the words he does understand, like sit and go and stay, are actually in the book, and everything else is kind of like squiggled out because the dog doesn't understand those words. There's an issue of this run that's totally done mostly in American Sign Language. So it is just a fantastic hero book. This and The Vision are probably 2 of my favorite hero comics of the past chunk of years. So you need to pick up Matt Fraction's run of Hawkeye if you have not read it. The book for your classroom today is one that I picked up. It is a new book, and it is by Top Shelf, and it is called Kodi, and it is by Jared Cullum. The art in this book is sick. It is all done in watercolor. The watercolor panels and pages in this book are just fantastic. The art took so much time for this book. I was just talking to my students today about how I generally not, and this is a fault of mine, where I'll speed through books sometimes and not really appreciate the art as much as I should. And I just focus on the words and the story, and I don't take as much time with each panel and appreciation of what the artist has done. I saw this book on the shelf of my local comic book shop yesterday, and I was flipping through it and saw this watercolor and said, you know what? I was just talking about this. What an amazing opportunity to kind of pick up this book and just slow down and appreciate the artwork. So I read this yesterday, and I was not disappointed. This book is about a bear named Cody, and he makes his friendship with this girl, and then they drift apart, and the book is about them trying to find each other to rekindle this friendship that they had. And it's cute, and it's nice, and it's definitely a book that kids are going to love. I think this book would be perfect for parents to read with their kids if the parents have like a deep appreciation for art and can appreciate like the wonderful watercolor like mini paintings on each page of this book, and the kids are going to find a wonderful story about love and friendship. So this is Kodi from Top Shelf Books, definitely one you're going to want to pick up from Jared Cullum. Good stuff. All right, I'm going to do, actually, instead of an ongoing series this week, like I like to do sometimes, I'm going to do 3 books that came out this week, and I want to talk about them. The first one is, there's a one-shot Web of Venom Wraith, and I guess it's leading up to a Venom event book. You know me in event books and big two stuff. It's too much. And this is okay. It's fine. It's cool. It's more, if you know more of the story of Venom and Eddie Brock and the things that are happening in the universe, you'll get more out of it. What I found funny, though, was like, look at this serious cover in this serious book, and it's like all dark, and there's, bounty hunter-esque type characters, and, it's giving you all this crazy dark artwork. And then, here's an ad on the next page for some kitty Lego stuff. Marvel, you know how to take us out of it tonally, don't you? You know what? Wait for the trade, ladies and gentlemen. This is a one shot. I don't know if it's going to be in a trade, but come on. Come on. Don't do that. Don't do that. If it's a fun book, whatever, fine. Throw in a kitty Lego ad, but I'd rather have the old Snickers ads. Just, what are you doing? All right. Next, another Marvel book. Ultraman. All right. So Marvel has kind of picked up the licensing for Ultraman. This is the Rise of Ultraman. From what I hear, it's going to be a 3-issue miniseries. It's kind of a collection of Ultraman stories. This is a cool cover, though. It's Spider-Man on Ultraman's shoulder. And the collection of stories written by Kyle Higgins and Matt Groom. There's like 3 or 4 mini stories in this issue. It's pretty cool. If you like kaiju and big robot monsters coming to fight kaiju. And I mean, am I going to get the other 2? I probably won't, because this is enough for me, but I think it's cool that it's out there, and if Kaiju and Ultraman and Marvel, if those things appeal to you, you're probably going to like this book. It's kind of fun. Mini stories kind of break it up, right? So you're getting a lot of chunks of stories. So yeah, there you go. Here's a Marvel book that I don't mind finding a Lego Kitty commercial in the middle of Marvel. And then finally today, my favorite single issue that came out this week that I dug is a Dark Horse series called Cyberpunk 2077, and that's by Cullen Bunn and Miguel Valderrama. It is basically, Cullen Bunn, like I've talked about a few of his things before, and if I haven't, I'm going to. It's a known fact that I dig his writing. It's relatively dark and kind of violent, and sometimes, though, he does that really well. Usually there's some horror aspects to his writing, and this book is about futuristic paramedics who have to show up to places with like weapons and minimize threats in order to get people out of there and save their lives. There's a lot developing in this. I may add this series to my pull list just to see where it goes, and then maybe take it off if I'm not quite sure if I'm happy with the direction. But this is definitely an interesting one, and the art style is, you can tell just by looking at this page, like it's very much, I'm not going to say all over the place. It's busy. And when the action is flying, there's a lot going on, but the colors pop. I'm never confused as to what's happening, and I think that's a great thing about this book as well. Cover's neat. I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to throw this on my pull list this week. So let's do a quick recap stuff that came out this week. We got Dark Horse Cyberpunk, written by Cullen Bunn. We got the Ultraman stories from Marvel, written by Kyle Higgins and Matt Groom. We have the Web of Venom, Donny Cates. That was written by Donny Cates. Really pulled this one out, though, just to show you the ridiculous ad in the middle of this supposedly dark, mysterious story. Kind of ridiculous. The book for your classroom today, very safe for any classroom library, is Cody, and that is by Jared Cullum, by Top Shelf Books, a story of a girl and a bear and the friendship, and how just it's nice. And even when it gets sad, it's never too sad. This is a nice book. All right, my pick for you is the Matt Fraction run of Hawkeye. And then finally, your nonfiction piece, which is also safe for your classroom, is Lucy Knisley's Relish, My Life in the Kitchen. And that was published by First Second. I did not say that. So thank you for being in this kind of new studio with me today and listening to these book reviews. Wednesdays, don't forget, I drop my educational videos. Fridays at noon are my reviews. Have a great week, and I'll see you next time.